A scorching afternoon in the heart of suburban chaos, where one entitled woman's rage spirals into her ultimate downfall. Meet Karen. Wait. No. Let's call her Brenda for this tale, a self-proclaimed queen of complaints who thought she could bully anyone in her path. But oh boy. Did karma have other plans when my badass Marshal sister, Deputy Marshal Laura, stepped in and turned the tables in the most epic public showdown imaginable. It all kicked off in the parking lot of our local megamart. The kind of place where fluorescent lights buzz like angry bees and the air smells of overripe produce mixed with exhaust fumes. I was there with my little brother, Timmy, just trying to grab some groceries after a long day. Brenda, this bleach blonde tornado in yoga pants and a live laugh, love t-shirt, cut in front of us at the checkout line. Excuse me, ma'am. But the line starts back there, I said politely. My voice steady but my heart pounding like a drum in my chest. She whipped around, her eyes narrowing into slits. Do you know who I am? I don't wait for peasants like you, she snarled, her breath hot and sour with coffee. Oh. The audacity. How could someone be so blind to basic human decency? The mumble of shoppers around us grew into a low hum, like thunder rolling in from afar. Brenda wasn't done, she escalated, shoving her cart into mine with a metallic clang that echoed off the concrete walls. Timmy flinched, his small hand gripping my sleeve tighter. Hey! Watch it! I yelped, feeling that familiar surge of frustration bubble up. Why do people like her always get away with this crap? But before I could retort, she launched into a tirade. You're probably one of those lazy millennials who thinks the world owes you everything. I demand to speak to your manager right now. Her voice cracked like a whip, drawing stares from every aisle. Sigh. If only she knew the storm she was brewing. As the manager, a weary guy named Mike with bags under his eyes, shuffled over, Brenda amped up the drama. She pointed at me accusingly, her fake nails glinting under the harsh store lights. This thug assaulted me with their cart. I want them arrested. Lies. Pure, unadulterated lies that made my blood boil. The scent of spilled orange juice from a nearby display wafted over, sticky and cloying, mirroring the mess she was creating. Timmy whispered, "Sis, is she for real?" And I nodded, forcing a smile through gritted teeth. But inside, rage simmered, hot and unrelenting. Why do these Karens, Brendas, think they can fabricate stories and ruin lives without consequence? Enter the twist. My phone buzzed in my pocket. It was Laura, my older sister, the no-nonsense U.S. Marshal who'd just wrapped up a shift nearby. I'd texted her earlier about grabbing ice cream after shopping. But now, this was an emergency ping. On my way, her reply read. Simple and loaded with promise. The air thickened with tension as Brenda continued her rant, her face flushing red like a tomato about to burst. Mike tried to mediate, his voice a tired drone. Ma'am, let's calm down. But Brenda, she doubled down, screaming about lawsuits and how she'd have this whole store shut down. The crowd swelled, phones out, capturing every venomous word. Click. Flash, the sounds of digital judgment snapping into place. Minutes felt like hours. My palms sweaty, the fluorescent hum drilling into my skull. Then, sirens wailed faintly in the distance. No. Wait. That was just the ambulance for a fender bender outside. But it amped the drama. Laura pulled up in her unmarked SUV, badge gleaming on her belt, her stride purposeful like a hero in those action flicks. She's built like an athlete, with sharp features and eyes that could pierce steel. What's going on here? She boomed, her voice cutting through the chaos like a knife through butter. Brenda froze mid-sentence, her mouth agape. Who the hell are you? She spat. But there was a quiver now, A crack in her armor. Laura flashed her badge. The metal catching the sunlight and sparkling like justice itself. U.S. Marshal Laura Hayes. And you must be the one causing this disturbance. The crowd gasped, audible. Collective inhales that rippled like waves. Brenda's eyes widened in shock. Her entitlement deflating just a tad. This doesn't concern you. This is between me and this. This nobody. She jabbed a finger at me again. But Laura stepped between us. Her presence a wall of authority. Actually. It does. That's my sister you're harassing. And from what I see, you're the one escalating to assault. Boom. The twist hit like a thunderclap, family ties turning the tide. Brenda stammered. Her voice pitching higher with desperation. Assault? I was defending myself. She rammed me first. Lies piling on lies. But Laura wasn't buying it. She turned to the crowd. Anyone got video? Hands shot up. Phones proffered like offerings. One bystander, a burly trucker named Joe, played his footage, the clear evidence of Brenda's shove. Her fabricated fury. The audio captured her slurs. The entitlement dripping like venom. Laura's jaw tightened. A sigh escaping her lips as she shook her head. Ma'am. You're looking at charges for disorderly conduct. Maybe even false reporting. Brenda's face paled. The color draining like water from a sink. You can't do that. I have rights, she wailed. But her bluster rang hollow now. Echoing off the indifferent parking lot asphalt. The confrontation peaked under the blazing sun. Sweat beading on everyone's brows. The metallic tang of car exhaust mixing with the tension. Laura radioed for backup. Her voice calm but firm over the crackle of static. We have a 10-91 here. Possible escalation. Brenda tried to bolt. Her heels clicking frantically on the pavement. But Laura grabbed her arm, not roughly. But with unyielding grip. Not so fast. You're not going anywhere. The crowd murmured approval. A chorus of finally, and about time, floating in the air. Timmy tugged my sleeve. Whispering. Aunt Laura's awesome, and I couldn't help but grin through the adrenaline rush. But Brenda? She was unraveling. Tears streaking her mascara. Her empire of complaints crumbling. As local cops arrived. Sirens blaring and lights flashing in a dizzying red-blue whirl. The truth unraveled further. Turns out, Brenda had a history, multiple complaints filed against her at various stores. Even a restraining order from a coffee shop barista. Laura dug into it on her tablet. The screen glowing accusingly. You've been warned before. Haven't you? This isn't your first rodeo. Brenda slumped against her car. The fight gone. Replaced by pathetic sobs. I didn't mean. Please. Don't arrest me. But it was too late. Handcuffs clicked shut with a final metallic snap that symbolized her downfall. The crowd cheered softly. A wave of relief washing over the lot like a cool breeze after a storm. In the aftermath, as Brenda was led away, her head bowed in defeat, I felt a mix of pity and triumph. Why do people like her push until they break? Laura hugged me tight. Her uniform smelling of leather and resolve. You okay? Kiddo, she asked. Her voice softening. I nodded. The weight lifting off my chest. Timmy beamed up at her, you're like a superhero. And in that moment, she was. But the karma didn't stop there, oh no. The universe had more in store. Days later, the video went viral on social media, racking up millions of views. Entitled Karen Gets Owned by Marshal's Sister, the headline screamed. Brenda's face plastered everywhere. Her job as a real estate agent tanked when clients bailed, citing her toxic behavior. Her husband filed for divorce. Whispers of her home tirade surfacing. She lost friends. Her live laugh. Love facade shattered into a million pieces. Sigh. The irony. Right? The woman who demanded respect ended up with none. Reflecting on it now, as I sip coffee in the quiet of my kitchen, the steam curling like forgotten dreams, I realize this: standing up to bullies isn't just about the moment, it's about ripple effects. Laura taught me that justice isn't always swift. But when it hits, it's unrelenting. And for all the Brendas out there, let this be a wake-up call. Treat people with kindness, or karma will come knocking, hard. In the end, we all deserve respect. But entitlement? That'll get you nowhere but regret. What a wild ride. Ha! If you've ever dealt with a Karen, drop your story below, let's share the laughs and lessons.